what does the root chakra have to do with wealth? Well, it turns out pretty much everything. Your root chakra is that missing key that really is the underlying reason why all money in abundance and your finances are the way that they are right now. Your root chakra lays the foundation for how much you think you're worth, what your value is, what your current beliefs are that have guided you in your decisions about money thus far. And so in this video, we're going to talk about how to ground yourself in abundance, how to question the beliefs that you currently have about money and replace them with beliefs that are more in aligned with the kind of life that you want to live. So maybe you clicked on this video because you're like, you know what, money is a struggle for me. What am I missing? I feel like I have to grind so hard, or I feel like I have a hard time asking for raises, or I have a low value of how much I'm charging in my business. If that's you, welcome. We're going to share some tips today on how your energy is affecting your financial status. And maybe you're like, well, that's not really me. I have a pretty good relationship with money, but I've sort of plateaued. I've been at the same income amount for a very long time. Or you just want more, and there's nothing wrong with that. So in today's video, I am going to share with you 4 reasons and 4 ways that your root chakra is affecting your wealth, and help you kind of diagnose what's going on with you, and tips on how you can improve your root chakra, heal your root chakra, or just grow some deeper roots and really anchor you in the alignment that you're looking to achieve. So I'm so excited to share this video. Thank you so much for joining me and for joining this community. Please comment along the way, like this video, and let's jump right in. Okay, so my financial journey, I just want to share a little bit with you that it has really changed, specifically improved over the last few years. So I'm at the point right now where I have, and I think the last time I counted was 21 different streams of income. Now, when I rewind and think about where Danielle was as a graduating senior of high school, I am at a very different point then than I am now. The high school version of me said, you know what, I have so much hope, I have so much ambition, I have so much desire. I know I want to be rich, I know I want to be important, I know I want to make a big impact on people, but I'm not quite sure what it is that I want to do or how I'm going to get there. At that point, I was working for minimum wage plus tips. I did have like a hustler mentality, which got me a lot of success, but it also required a lot of hard work. So not only was I in school, but I had 2 jobs. I did find a waitressing job, so I said, okay, well, at least I can work really hard and like really impress people and smile and get some extra tips. So I went from that energy to now where most of my money comes in passively. And the money that I do have actively, my price is way higher than I ever would have imagined at the high school level. And so what is the difference? What bridged that gap for me? The number one thing is worthiness. So your root chakra is an energy, right? And I think it's important to dive into how money is an energy. And for some people, they're like, energy just seems too foo-foo. I need the raw facts of why I'm having a hard time with money. Okay, it is energy, but another way we can look at it is scientifically. So in a science experiment, there is a control group. The control group is stable, it is consistent, it doesn't change, and it is the metric by which we can measure all other things. In this example, the control group is money. Money really doesn't change. It is an energy that we all have access to. The thing that changes is the variable. And in science, we learn that the variable can change and fluctuate, and we use that variable to see against the control group to see what's the difference, what's the impact, what's the cause. And the variable is you. It is people. So this is why some people are like, oh, when it comes to money, it just comes and goes. I can't keep it. For some people, they're like, I can attract it, but that's it. Then I spend it just as fast, right? And not only does it differ based off the person that comes into contact with money, but it even differs with yourself, which is why I shared the example of old Danielle had a very different relationship with money than new Danielle. And that's why I'm even more excited about future Danielle and how much I'm going to continue to grow and continue to get my chakras in alignment in the relationship I'll have with money then. The biggest change here is going to be worthiness. So the root chakra mantra is I am. It's all about knowing who you are at your core and being anchored in that. The root system gives us that anchoring that the tree is not going anywhere. We are unmovable in who we are. And the more that you know who you are, how much you appreciate who you are, how much you value who you are, the more money will come to you. And so when you have an unhealed root chakra, your value in yourself is going to be low and your standards are going to be low. The example I have for this is when I went to college, I got my bachelor's degree in Spanish. My minor or my sub-degree was in business administration. My plan was to have a business degree and a minor in Spanish. However, when I was in college, I got pregnant and it made graduating a lot more difficult. I remember bringing my little toddler to my midterm and her crying and me just walking out of the midterm feeling so embarrassed and feeling like I really tried. To this day, I don't remember why I didn't have a babysitter. Everyone must have been busy and I had a midterm. I don't understand. But to me, that was just another root chakra imbalance that I didn't call on my support system. I felt like I had to do it all by myself, which is a root chakra imbalance. You can't have a healthy root chakra by yourself. It requires a tribe. It requires a root system. But I digress. So because of the way I devalued my degree then, because I said, it wasn't what I wanted the business major, Spanish minor, now I'm a Spanish major, and how does that make me more valuable than just a Spanish speaker, right? Like someone who's just native, someone who's just, that's their culture and that's their ethnicity and they're super bilingual and they're going, I'm not completely fluent. I had a very high fluency. I graduated with a bachelor's in Spanish, but I questioned my value. And because of that, when I graduated with my bachelor's, I went out into the workforce not confident in who I was and the value that I could provide. Because my value was lower, I accepted the first job that I could get. And at the time, that was a teaching degree at a daycare, or a teaching job at a daycare, and I was making $12.50 per hour. My boyfriend, who is now my husband, my boyfriend at the time said, "What are you doing? You have a bachelor's degree. Why are you settling for this job at $12.50? And it triggered me. And I fussed back at him and said, "Don't you worry about it. This is the only job I could get. I'm trying, I'm applying. You don't know what it's like, blah, blah, blah." All these stories. The stories I was telling myself about why my value was so low. That job, I ended up being very grateful that I took that job. It was all within God's divine plan because I learned a lot of skills about working with children and how they develop, which I later used in my business. I then became, later on through the years, a yoga teacher that taught kids yoga, and I really called on that daycare experience. So it was within God's divine plan, but it doesn't change the fact that I settled. My standards were low. So that was right out of college. I then worked on my worthiness, and I worked there for 1.5 years, and I said, you know what, this is ridiculous. I am worth more than $12.50. I'm excelling here, I'm excellent, people like me, and my value of myself started to grow. I then transferred and got a different job because that job was not willing to promote me, and they were not willing to give me a raise. So I said, all right, I'm going into a different job, which ended up being corporate America at $18 an hour. I now felt like I was worth that. And so I was more confident in getting that career. And I stayed there for a while until I felt like this isn't matching my worth. So if you want to speed up the amount of time, I took the slow route, guys. I took the slow route to my worthiness. But if you want to speed up your worthiness journal or your income, if you want to speed up those raises and speed up how much wealth you're acquiring, focus on your worthiness, feeling like you are worthy of it. And that might sound like an easy solution, but it does take some work. I do offer a Root Chakra course and a Root Chakra journal so that you can actually do the homework, actually sit and do the work that's required to raising your worth, a lot of self-reflection. Okay, so it happened again years later after I raised my worth. I then left jobs and started my own business. I became a certified yoga teacher, and when that happened, I said, all of the old drama, all of the old stories that I was telling myself came rushing back. I started a new career. I haven't really taught a lot of yoga classes. I don't know if I'm good or not. And so I started my business charging $5 per person per class and just hoping people would show up. There were times when I would rent a room for $50, which that was a blessing, that I even found a space that would rent to me that cheap. And only one person would show up. So I made $5 and had to pay $50 to the venue, not to mention my time, not to mention my supplies and setup. And I said, and it reminded me of that entry-level job, and I said, oh, I'm making my value too low. And so this second time, I was able to raise my value a lot faster. So what took me years in corporate America and with jobs to raise my value, in my business, it took me months. I only did that $5 an hour class stuff for a couple of months before I said, I need to raise my value. And so I raised it to $150 per hour. This was a huge jump for me, but I was more comfortable raising my value because I had already done that swing, and so I was able to do it again. And so it wasn't about, well, you know, who can afford me? It didn't matter who can afford me. That's my price. Now tell me who can afford me. Do you know what? It was an inverse in thinking. And so I said, no, this is what I want. This is my value. And people came. And as a matter of fact, I was more successful charging $150 per hour than I was just charging $5 per class. Since then, I was able to raise my rates many times, and I look forward to the days where I continue to raise my prices because I know I'm worth it, and my value and my worthiness matches that rate. So we're going to replace our belief system about worthiness. And so our mantra or our affirmation for this first step in raising your worthiness is, my worthiness is never in question. And so I want you to repeat that right now and say, my worthiness is never in question. Beautiful. All right, now please comment and put down a time where you felt like you were lowering your worthiness, or maybe put a comment on your desire to raise your worthiness higher. All right, let's move on to number 2, the second way that your root chakra is affecting your wealth. This is your beliefs. Okay, now your root chakra holds all of your core beliefs. It holds all of your subconscious programming. This is going all the way back from birth through childhood, everything you personally experienced, okay? This can also be generational, things that happened before you that you inherited into your subconscious. So some of these beliefs, if it is unhealed, if your root chakra is unhealed, your beliefs will seem like it will put you in the position of being the victim. It will put you in the position of struggling, of being in survival. And so when you have this survival mindset, you're going to take anything and do anything just to survive, just to pay the bills, just to get to the next step. And it's like this hustler mindset. I mentioned that I had a hustling mindset when I was younger, and this was definitely inherited. I witnessed it with my parents, watching them, hustle and struggle and try to pay the bills and, sometimes argue over money. And it was such an unusual experience for me, because I wondered, in so many other ways my parents were abundant. In their marriage, they're still married to this day. This year will be their 51st anniversary. So they're abundant in love. They were abundant in their faith with God. But when it came to money, it was just like all of a sudden their beliefs just did not suit them. Like it did not serve them. It did not serve them. And so as I was growing up, I had to question, and through my personal development and going through my root chakra, I had to question a lot of the beliefs that I had, to be like, wait, this did not serve them well, and it's not seeming to serve me well. So I have an example for this. I believed that if I really wanted to get rich, I was going to have multiple jobs. And then I started looking around and seeing, wait, a lot of the people who have multiple jobs are still struggling, and me included. I was working, back-to-back jobs. I had started a little network marketing hustle, and I was just hustling, salesy, and I had like a desperate vibe. So like if I met someone new, I'd be like, hi, how are you? Are you interested in making additional income? And it was like this, oh gosh, it was this, I had a secret motive, and people could feel that, like, you don't seem like you're genuinely interested in getting to know me. And it was because I was trying to network. I was trying to recruit this person so that I could work my way up to become executive director. And that hustling spirit was a turnoff. It actually made me I was kind of at the brokest I had ever been, was when I was doing that. The other thing I did was during, that was my younger years, like fresh out of high school, I had joined that, and it was like, it just fit into the story of you gotta hustle, you gotta hustle, you gotta hustle. And then I realized, like, I don't have to hustle, okay? I can just, money can come to me easily. And that was an affirmation that I had to switch, that I don't have to struggle and work hard to get money. I said, wait a second. Money comes to me easily, okay? And so that was a big switch. But then when COVID hit, trigger, scary, fear, all of a sudden reset me again. And I had to learn that same lesson on a different level. So now I'm making income, I have a career, but now I'm nervous, and I feel like I need a backup plan. And so it put me right back into survival. And so instead of looking for, a business or a career that I love, that would be easy and simple and fit harmoniously into my life, I started searching businesses that made the most money, that seemed the most stable. And so all of a sudden my belief system is, I need stable income. I need what industry is the most stable industry that there is. It didn't work out for me. So the one that I found was taxes. I ended up Googling it, found out that taxes are a very stable business. Everyone needs their taxes done every year. It's relatively low entry. You can get quickly certified, and you can charge a lot of money, and it won't take a lot of time. So I said, perfect. So I found this company that was hiring for independent tax contractors. I joined them, and it cost $5,000 to join. Okay, so that's a lot of money to put up. So clearly I had money. Okay, so clearly I wasn't struggling too much. So I put $5,000 into this tax business and did not feel like I was well trained. They were like, okay, this is your training. And I swear it took 3 days, and then they were like, you're ready to go do people's taxes. I did not feel comfortable doing people's taxes after 3 days. So I then went and got a job at H&R Block, where they give you a much longer, much more in-depth. Now that was a curriculum of taxes, but they only pay $13 an hour. So I said, okay, I'll get certified in both. I'll work for H&R Block like 1 day a week just so that I'm like on the books with them, but I'm really gonna use the information to do this side hustle. Turns out, guys, I hate doing taxes. And I should have known that because I don't even like doing my own taxes, okay? So I was just operating out of fear because I had a belief that said, you need to work in a stable industry. That has not served me. That did not serve me then. It was a waste of $5,000. It was a waste of a job that I had to quit H&R Block like as soon as I started. That was bad on my record. It was just like, why am I telling myself that it has to be a stable industry? I am so much more successful now as a yoga teacher. And that's not a stable industry. I mean, they wouldn't say, hey, if you want to make the big bucks, go be a yoga teacher. Do you know what I mean? But I made it work because it aligned with me. It felt right with me. It was my passion. I enjoy doing it. It's easy. So we're going to replace the beliefs about money that money gets to be easy. There's lots of other beliefs, and we can do a whole deep dive on misbeliefs about money, and I think that will be my next video. But I will share one more. One more misbelief was that if you are rich, you are greedy. Okay? And it is the poor people who really aren't greedy. I had that belief, and it turned me off to being rich because I said, well, I don't want to be greedy. And I don't want to be perceived as a bad person. I already had enough of that drama with network marketing. And by the way, I'm not speaking bad about network marketing. I actually recommend it because it toughened my skin for sales. Like I was getting so many rejections that rejections didn't matter anymore. And I think that is a benefit. It sounds crazy, but that is a benefit. They also push personal development, which led me into the stream that I'm in now. So I highly recommend network marketing if it aligns with you. Okay, back to rich people are greedy. I had to replace this thought because when I actually met rich people and it took it out of idea space and it made it tangible, it was just the raw people that were rich, they did not seem greedy. In fact, they were very generous. The rich people that I met not only shared money and resources, they shared connections with me. They shared their time with me. They shared information with me. I mean, they were not greedy at all. They were very generous. And then the poor people that I met, they actually ended up being more greedy. They were very stingy, didn't want to share. And it wasn't just share with me. It was they didn't want to share even within their own circle, like even within themselves. Like they wouldn't invest in themselves. They held on to every penny. Like if you were to say, hey, this is an opportunity for you to grow, for you to educate, for you to go to a retreat, for you to meet with a therapist, for you to, buy this book and read and gain information. Nope, I can't afford it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And the fact that they wouldn't let money flow through them, that was the greediness, that was the stinginess that I think ended up keeping them poor. Okay, so we're moving on, people. We're moving on to the third way that the root chakra is affecting your wealth. Did I say wealth? Wealth. Number 3, your association. Okay, So as I said before, the root chakra is inside of your body, but it's not just you. Your root chakra is the entire tribe that you have been born into, even going into your ancestors, your lineage, every person along the journey and along the way that brought you to who you are today. And the people who are living now, the people who you've put into your circle and the people who were born into your circle. This is your tribe. Now, the people who you were born into, you can't change that, right? So they were given to you for a reason, right? So they are a support or they are a lesson. Either way, they are a benefit to you. And then there's the people that you have chosen to put into your circle. So the clients that I work with them on their root chakra, one of the main ways that their root chakra is unhealed and affecting their wealth is that they resent their ancestors. And for a lot of times when I tell them this, they go, what does that have to do with my money? Well, when you resent your ancestors, and maybe the example is, they were all broke. They were all broke. They were all irresponsible with money. And that's why I'm at where I'm at now. That's why I was born on this side of the tracks. That's why I'm struggling so hard now, because they didn't do what they needed to do. And it just passes the blame back. And when you pass the blame back, you no longer take personal responsibility for where you are now. And so it damages you from being able to move forward. It's like you can either blame or you can thank. Now, if you thank, it puts boosters on your back and you shoot forward and you really excel. So healing those relationships are important. It also affects your worthiness, going back to number one, because if you think that everybody behind you was a loser, what do you think about yourself? You're probably going to think you're a loser too. They were all losers and so am I. Well, how helpful is that? Right? Like, how helpful is that? So healing those relationships is going to do a lot for your worthiness and for your association, right? So keeping on with number three, your association, what you are familiar with is what you will attract and feel comfortable with. So you'll most likely choose people to put into your circle that are of that similar vibe. So you will surround yourself with people who are also struggling. We're all struggling. We're all sitting at the water cooler. Oh man, it's Monday morning. It sucks to be here. Yeah, it does suck to be here. Oh man, I wish we could just win the lottery one day. Yeah, maybe we will. And so that association is going to damage you, okay? Now, maybe you're like, well, I right now don't have the circle that I can really, change too much. Well, you can change your association by the things that you're listening to. So stop associating with melodramas on TV and start listening to YouTube channels and podcasts like you are now that are feeding you, that are inspiring you, that are above you. You want to be the small fish in the big pond. You want to be surrounded by those people. So in this example, I have a positive example. I know I gave a couple of negative examples of how my root chakra was unhealed. In this way, I have a very solid root chakra when it comes to my ancestors. I very much so appreciate them. I also have a very solid relationship with my parents. I love my father. I love my mother. And so because of this, I trust people. I have a general, I trust you and I respect your wisdom. My father was 54 years old when I was born. And so I have a very old dad. So right now my dad is 92 and he's still doing fantastic. And so I've been trained and conditioned to respect my elders, that they have more wisdom than me, and to go to them for wisdom and to go to them for insight. So because that part of my root chakra is solid, when it came to money, I was looking for mentors. I was looking for people like, what do you know? How can you help me? What I was hungry for it. And one thing that a mentor loves, trust me, because I'm a mentor, one thing that a mentor loves is a hungry, ambitious learner. Because you're like, ooh, I can pour into this person and change their lives, right? Mentors love the testimony. They love seeing people succeed, right? So that was one area I was really good in. So I loved HGTV. When I was in high school, me and my mom would sit around and watch HGTV, design on a dime, and list it, sell it or list it, or keep it or list it. What's that one called? But you know what I'm saying. We watched all those home design shows. And so my belief in this area was, oh, I could totally do this. Like, I could totally buy real estate. I could totally flip it. I could redecorate it. Like, my belief was I was very confident that I could do this, but I wanted the guidance. So I sought out and started networking. I started asking people, do you know anyone who owns real estate? What do you know? And I started asking my elders, asking my tribe, asking my community, because I trusted them, which led me to 2 multimillionaires who were mentors in real estate. So if you're looking for it, it will find you, you will find it. And so I found these 2 guys that were very old men, gray hair. They look like the 2 Muppets. I don't know the Muppets' names, but if you watch the Muppets, the 2 old guys, Muppets, that's what they were like. And I met them at a networking event. I ran home to my husband and I said, babe, I found the money guys. And he was like, I'm down, let's go. We scheduled a meeting and we met with them. Up until this point, I had been trying to get real estate. So that was so just to give you a timeline, high school, loved HGTV, went into network marketing, wasn't too thrilled about it, then went into real estate. And in that real estate era, these 2 mentors helped us build our portfolio. Before I met them, I had been trying on my own to get a pre-approved for a mortgage, and I got denied 3 years in a row. Each time they said that I had too much student loan debt, and so I didn't qualify. And so I was kind of like, when I met with these guys, I told them flat out, I said, I can't get approved for a mortgage, but if you can make wonders work. And they did. They did. They taught me that it's who you know. It's who you know. My credit did not change at all. In fact, that 3rd denial that I had, from the time of my 3rd denial to the time they got me pre-approved, was less than 60 days. So nothing had changed on my credit report. Nothing. And they got me my first mortgage for $250,000. How did they do that? We can talk about it later. But the point is that my root chakra was solid in trusting my network, in seeking elders, into seeking wisdom, and allowing people to help me. And so your association, you should be in circles that upgrade you. Now, should you be able to upgrade others? Absolutely. And I work on that constantly, to be so powerful, to be so rooted, to be so aligned that just by being in my presence will upgrade the people around me. But that happens because I surround myself with people who upgrade me, right? Who I aspire to be like. And so we're going to repeat the mantra, my circle upgrades me. So repeat that with me. My circle upgrades me. So please put in the comments right now, is your root chakra solid in the association department, or is that an area that you need to work on and heal? Okay. Oh, running out of time. Okay, number 4. Number 4 is discipline. So the root chakra is masculine energy. So all of your chakras have, overall, we all have masculine energy inside of us, and we all have feminine energy inside of us. But the root chakra specifically has a masculine energy because it's very solid, it's very logical, it's about routines, it's about discipline, it's about structures and containers. And so if you are lacking that discipline that comes with the root chakra, you're not going to know where to put your money or what to do with it. So some examples of this is when someone has a job but doesn't have a bank account. You're missing the discipline, you're missing the structure. You have a bank account, but you don't have a budget. You're not telling your money where to go. Maybe you started a business and you are getting clients, but the funnel system to have them cash out is real confusing and wonky. Maybe you don't have a way for them to pay, and you're like, I only use Venmo. So if you don't use Venmo, you can't use me. Or I only have Cash App, or I only accept cash, so go to the ATM. Like, these are all ways that like you want to set up your structures and have that discipline. So let's see here. One thing I want to say is that your money blocks are not just going to disappear when you have money. Some people say, when I have money, then this and this and this and this. No, the same money blocks that you have now, if you get some money, you still have those money blocks. It doesn't change anything. So what you want to do is you want to change who you are. You want to improve who you are. You want to get more in alignment with who you are. You want to get deeper into who you are. You want to heal your root chakra. So thank you guys so much. I have to wrap it up now. It's time for me to get my little baby boy from school, but I want to leave you with some recommendations. Oftentimes advisors will tell you to go gather more information about financial literacy. And I would agree with that. I mean, some of the books that were pivotal to me back then were Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, anything by John C. Maxwell and the Laws of Leadership, The Richest Man in Babylon, all the classics that you probably already know about. Reading those books are great. But what the difference between just gathering information and root chakra work is that the information just comes in, usually through your throat chakra or your third eye chakra, and then it goes out, usually goes out the mouth. You just say, hey, I learned this, do that, but you never embody it. You want to put it all the way into your body, all the way down to the root until it becomes who you are. Do you see the difference? You want to really be wealthy. You want to be abundant. Money is just one energy. It's just one control group. You want to be abundant in your relationships. You want to be rock solid, that things don't just irritate you so easily. And so if there's one thing that I would say to work on, one thing that is really going to heal your root chakra and increase your income, it's your worthiness. I want you to know that you are worthy just by being you. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to prove anything. You are worthy because you have breath. You are worthy because God created you. That's it. You're worthy. You are worthy. And it's more about chipping away the disbelief of that worthiness, because you are worthy. It's not, you don't have to say, oh, I need to fill myself up with worthiness. You are worthy. Get rid of the things that make you think you're not. Okay? I love you. I love you. I love you. Please, one of the other things that you can do is like and subscribe this channel. I will continue to create content that pours into you and that lifts you up. Number 2, check out my root chakra journal. I'll put the link in the description. It's available on Amazon. This is if you're ready to do the homework. The price is very low. It's only $20. It's not about the money. It's about doing the work. It's about actually investing in yourself, letting the money invest into yourself, and then doing the work, raising your self-worth, healing your root chakra. I also have root chakra course and lots of other ways that you can connect with me on social media and et cetera, et cetera. But I love you. Heal the root chakra, get grounded in who you are, and know that you are worthy. I love you. God bless. Namaste.